Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Summer is in full swing. We're out early at the crack of dawn. A nice breeze for Dizzy, and today we're going to give you a long overdue season recap. So the 2024-2025 season was our longest and most successful season we've ever had. We ran all the way through September until May. More podium finishes than we've ever had. Our highest ever national ranking and another 5k team record. It all started back in September with Tri-Dog. A Tri-Dog was a hot one. It was actually warmer than it is right now as we're running, and it's summer solstice. So on the Saturday we had the unusual situation where I decided I was going to run Dizzy for what I felt a safe amount of distance was in that heat, which was half a course. Steve came and picked him up, and we had our first ever That Spotty Dog Runs dogless, although my dogless running inadvertently allowed me to pace a setter to the lead, and we couldn't catch him on the Sunday. But Diz ran the whole course on the Sunday and started the season just as we did the season before, with a second place in the CaniX at Tri-Dog. We will be heading back there to kick off our 2025-26 season in just over 14 weeks now, and we've got a special surprise for you on that one. Now the following weekend we were meant to be back at Box End for our first CaniX proper series start with CaniX Midlands, but we had some flash flooding in the UK and the event got cancelled because it got flooded off. So we had to wait another week to start our season proper, and for the first time we dipped into the NATB series. We'd been trying to get one of these races done, so we were super excited to try one out and head off down to Hinton Admiral, where we were greeted with pretty much Dizzy's dream course. Wooded, technical, twisty, loamy underfoot, super fun. He absolutely loved it down there, and he smashed it. A nice technical course, really suiting us, really suits Dizzy's strengths. We're just as quick through the woods as we are on the open flats, really, which sort of became the theme for the season, really. But nevertheless, first NATB event, second weekend of the season, second podium of the season. Now after that, there is always in the UK a brief pause mid to late October, but people go off and race internationally. There's a few international races on at that time of year, so our domestic season sort of has a bit of a pause, not many events on, so we put in some training, and then our next race was right where we are now and right back where we started, on this very trail actually. It was of course the Ashridge CaniX race, a slightly longer challenge, an 8-kilometre race, so a step up from our usual 4 or 5 kilometre races. We're racing 8 kilometres. You want to go that way? We'll go this way. We absolutely love racing the Ashridge race. It was, many years ago, our very, very first race, just as we joined the CaniX Club. And Dizzy was about 18 months old, and we'd been CaniXing for 6 months or so. So it's always good vibes to come back and do it. We still run with the club whenever we can, although it wasn't without its challenges, with Dizzy knowing the trails around here so well and the routes that we normally run being very, very close, but not quite the same as the race route. For example, we have just taken the route that Dizzy likes to go to get onto the same trail right now, whereas in the race we'd have had to go a slightly different way. So he kept trying to cheat, or go his way, cheat. So to keep him honest was a challenge, and we actually had his first ever mid-race pit stop, shall we say. Caught a little short, and actually in the long scheme that little stop cost us a place, but nevertheless still on the podium. Third race out, third podium of the season, and we had the extra honour with that one of being the fastest Ashridge club members around the course. Another beautiful technical course around this wonderful estate, taking us through loads of fun woodland, down to one of Dizzy's favourite trails, Dead Badger Ridge. Super fun to run as well, really fun to race. After the Ashridge fun, we were back for our second crack at an NATB event because we loved the first one so much, and we were back on the exact same course down at Hinton Admiral. Now, if you've been following our videos for a few seasons, you will know that the challenge with Dizzy is never how he races on a new course. It's always getting him going on day two, once he's already done the course, and having the drive to go around the same course again. Now, going back down to a venue and running it for a third time, in my mind, was a really interesting challenge, and was going to test our ability to drive on in tough scenarios, because we were going to have some tough races coming up this season. But it was also testament to the course they've done some forestry work here, so a trail that we run all the time looks brand new to them, but it was testament to the trail down at Hinton Admiral, put on by NATB, that Diz loved it so much he flew around again twice, and both times quicker than the first time we ran it, which is awesome, and meant 4 races down and we were on the podium for the 4th time. So we were in a really good run of form. Mini shout out to coach, who was obviously controlling our season a bit and making sure we were obviously starting to peak and build around the right times, which was showing in our results. Now next up, on from Hinton Admiral, we had our first time for the season around the Canicross mecca that is Thetford Forest, and we were back at one of our favourite events up there, the Raw Trails, which I think could be the fastest race in the UK. The course is quick, there are a couple of sharp turns, but with the seeding being so close together, you always get a good chase going, and it's always quick. And we went there with one main aim, and that was to break 18 minutes for the 5k, which in Canicross terms is nothing special. However, in Canicrossing with a Dalmatian, now we are talking about a very elite club. Tactics were set in motion, and the plan was to set off right behind our friends Chloe and Buzz, have a good chase. Dizzy likes chasing Chloe. That was the plan. However, my belt came undone right on the start line, and actually as we progress through the season you will see it wasn't the first time that that was going to happen. So as I lined Dizzy out, I realised we weren't attached, so I had to duck out at the start chute, Our hairs were gone. I managed to reattach the belt and jump back in a bit later than we really wanted to. And with a bit of a frantic start, we did not get off to the best start at all. And our whole sub-18 dream was teetering on the brink. But Dizzy ran such a beautifully consistent race, splitting things pretty much evenly throughout the whole race, as he actually always does around that course. He's so consistent. And we came away with a massive team record, now standing at 17:48 for the 5k. And we also came back with second place in our category and third scratch. So 5 races down, 5 podiums, and a new 5k team record. So all this brilliant form led us to be obviously peaking at the exact right point in the season, just as we hit the first round of the national championships. And we made the long trip all the way up to Burgee in Scotland, greeted by a beautiful course, so much fun, proper little cross-country course. If you haven't checked out our BSSF series recap, then go and give that a watch to find out in more detail how we got on. But in short, it was tricky to get Dizzy to run the laps that we were required to run. We'd only ever run a lapped course once before, and it didn't go amazingly well that time either. But as I say, it was a fun course, a wonderful weekend. We had a great time, and even though it was a struggle to get us going around the laps, we still came away with a pretty decent result and scoring some good points in the National Champs Series. So we headed into Christmas with a really good set of results, and between Christmas and New Year we took on a new one for us. We headed off to a proper rally, so lots of wheeled racing, much smaller canicross field. We went to Wydene Mushing up in Thetford Forest. Lots of Nordic breeze running, which is wonderful to see. And we just had a little day there running around the course at Santon Downham. Dizzy ran super fast, loved the fun course down there, and it is one that we will definitely explore a little more next season. Straight after that, we were back at that exact same location. Come on, Diz. That's Santon Downham in Thetford Forest for the second round of the Nationals. So we'd had a little sneaky peek at the lay of the land the week before, and we were racing on some more of the same trails basically at the Nationals. Now, the course down at Santon Downham is flat, fast, long and straight. Absolutely perfect for Peggy's kind. She's going to absolutely love it there. But for Dizzy's kind, who lack some of the drive of some of the pointing dogs and the racing crosses, it's tough. And then when you combine that with the fact that it was probably the fastest BSSF race ever, with 2 women going sub 14 minutes for 5k, a handful of men getting sub 14 for 5k, and the winner, Ben Robinson, running 12:15 and 12:25. So absolutely eye-watering times. Now Dizzy actually ran really well and put in another sub 18 minute 5k. So 2 sub 18 minute 5ks with a Dalmatian in one season. Oh, out into the sun. That's better. Okay. And despite running basically as fast as we'd ever run before, we still seemingly comparatively trotted into last place. Some may say wooden spoon, we say well done to everyone else. on some brilliant running. With a little break between national champs rounds, we headed up to Sherwood Forest for a new one for us, the CaniX Outpour, which was a new event set up this season. And we had the rarest of rare birds in the UK. It absolutely dumped down with snow, but the event went ahead. We could still run the trails, so we got to run in a snow race, a challenging course, especially in the snow. The black arrows on the white background, which stand out in the beautiful green Sherwood Forest, did not stand out in the snow. But we were running with friends for the most part of it. We had a great time, and for our first ever time running in the veteran males category, because the Outpour started it at 35 plus rather than the 40 plus that you usually get, so we managed to get a little run in the veterans, and we picked up a win, our first victory of the season and our only race in the Masters to date. So we are currently undefeated in the veterans category. So in 2 years time, when we are rocking the over 40s, you got to watch out, because we have a 100% record. A bit more graft and a bit more training put in over the month of January and early Feb, and by this point in the season we had Peggy going as well. So she had just started to run in harness, and we were coming up with all these brilliant fun short sessions with her to teach her all the skills that she needed to become an absolute CaniX superstar and racing machine. At this point, it's a massive shout out to Coach, who not only had the challenge of guiding me and Dizzy through a busy race season. We race quite a lot more than some other teams, because we just love getting out and doing it, love making the videos for you guys. So she has to work quite hard keeping us fit, healthy and in shape. But not only did we have to train me to race with a Dalmatian, which is race pace about 45 seconds to a minute quicker over 5k than if I'm doing it without him. So a bit of a pull, bit of a drop in time. So not only that, but she then also had to try and train me to run with a Greyster. And even Peggy at, what was she, 9, 10 months old at that time, is running a minute a kilometre quicker than Dizzy. A minute, not over 5k, like I was just saying between me and Dizzy, a minute per kilometre quicker than Dizzy is running in a race. So there's quite a difference there. So she had to work really, really hard to keep me fit, basically, train me, but also at the same time came up with all these wonderful sessions for Peggy, which were really fun for her, but most importantly really fun for her, but were nice and short. Because she's young, we didn't want to do too much volume, but we wanted to get all the learning, so we prioritized them short and fun. So she absolutely loved doing it, and would love to do it forever, but also focusing on the quality of what we were trying to achieve out of the session. It wasn't necessarily run as fast as you can, it is various skills. We did everything from running loops because that didn't go well with Diz, back past the vans, technical stuff. We even had some of the fastest in the world, including Coach herself, come and help Peggy learn how to overtake on the race course. If you want to check out more about how we took Peggy from tiny pup, I collected her this weekend 12 months ago into what she is now, a purpose-bred racing machine. And she has 2 races under her belt. We have been running and training consistently for a number of months now, and she's just started going on the bike as well, which terrifies me. I hate cycling, but she loves it. But if you haven't seen that, then go and check that one out as well. Then it was on to the final round of the national champs, and we were looking so forward to going back down to Hinton Admiral. This is his favourite course of the season so far, but the disgusting UK winter weather had something else to say about that. It had rained so much that we had thought about building an ark to get down there, and sure enough, when we arrived, Dizzy's dream course was no more. It was an absolute bog, and poor Diz is not a fan of running through the mud. That's why we make the effort to go and train on sand quite a lot in the winter. So another round, 3 out of 3, not suited to us at all. Dizzy tried his heart out, which is all you can ask. It just was not for us. We ran into an expected last place again, but because we'd been consistent in our rounds, stayed fit throughout the whole season for national champs, and picked up points in every single round, we actually came away ranked 8th in the country. 1 place improvement from last year. So it just shows, yeah, we may have run into last place in 2 out of 3 races, but we did not finish last in the standings, and we actually improved our ranking through consistency and just sheer guts and determination, and really, really beautiful gutsy running from Dizzy, which is something new for him. We've never really had to dig deep and race like that before over those 3 rounds. I was so proud of him. But more on it on the BSSF recap, go check it out. So with the BSSF series done and dusted, it was time to dip in and out of some of our fun favourite series for the rest of the season. And next up was a CaniX race. We had not done a CaniX race yet, so we headed down to Bedgebury Pinetum, however you want to say it, I still don't know. But what we didn't know at the time was a hill race. Been a while since we've done big elevation in a race. We certainly had our work cut out. It was basically like one of those last to first parkrun videos you see on YouTube. Dizzy ran beautifully and did 70 overtakes on day 1 and took us round to first place in our category. So our 2nd win of the season, and what, 7th podium and 3rd scratch. After that, it was back into the NATB series for the final round at Chepstow, a new venue for us around Chepstow Racecourse, which was really cool. So not only a new venue, but for the first time ever for us, we were racing for a place on the podium for the whole series. We were sitting in 2nd place at the start of the weekend in the NATB series, so a good result would see us retain and hold on to 2nd place. We've never ever finished on the podium in a series before, so it became a pretty good aim to try and finish on that podium. Chepstow was such a fun course. Grassy, a little bit hilly, but we're pretty well trained on the hills, especially after the last race. And Dizzy actually ran around Chepstow almost as fast as he ran around BSSF Thetford at Santon Downham. Now it goes back to what I was saying earlier, the theme for the season. When a course is fun for the dogs, it gives dogs like Dizzy, who lack the drive of dogs like Peggy, who are purpose bred to do it, so much more of a chance to succeed and run well. The BSSF courses were just not to our strengths, and those long straight open ones, he runs pretty well, but you can roll along and you can kind of get away with it. Hence why our 5k team record together is less than a minute between that and my own 5,000 meters. But when the course is fun, even with hills, twists, turns, Dizzy can run just as fast over that terrain together as we do on something that is theoretically flat and the fastest trails that you can find in the UK. So it just shows, actually, it is about how fun a course can be that will dictate how fast some dogs will run on it. That is this season's massive learning for us. And we've always had what we call a good Dizzy course, but we are now coming into next season on a mission to hunt those courses out, have some serious fun on those trails together. And then the ones that don't suit us, they're a bit more boring, but you have to do to score well in championships. Hey, I've got a rocket to unleash as well. But Dizzy's brilliant run at NATB Chepstow, it was warm that weekend as well. So Dizzy once again showed all the work that we do on days exactly like this. It is literally midsummer's day. It's about 6:30 in the morning, but it's where it was 16 when we started. It's probably going to be close to 18 when we finish. So he is acclimated to run in warmer weather. He's white, he's very fit. He also knows how to pace a race. So racing him in the warm weather at Chepstow was never an issue, and he ran really well. And actually, because we'd done the work acclimating him to the heat where others had to pull out because it became too warm for their dogs, we could still run strong, and we ran to our third victory of the season and into second place for the NATB series, our first ever series podium. Chepstow also wasn't just about Dizzy, because NATB let the youngsters have a go on the 1 mile course in the rec class. She could be 9 months old to do the rec class. Now Peggy was actually 11 months old, so she had her first ever look at a race course. It wasn't a race, and she absolutely loved it and screamed around the course. If you want to check out her run from that is on a separate video. So after that run in the warm weather, Dizzy was nicely acclimated for what we call our spring racing, which is always the most fun series of the season, the CaniX Fur Nations. We've given increasing time in our season to this series over the past few years, and this time we went in even more and absolutely loved it. Starting out over Easter at Pembury in Wales. Now, we just talked about Dizzy courses. Pembury is the dizziest of Dizzy courses. Sandy, undulating, twisty, turny, just fun. And he had an absolute blast charging around there for Scotland and setting some brilliant times on the course. He ran beautifully both days, even in the rain on the first day. Not quite enough for another podium this year, finishing in a very strong 4th position. But again, we were not done there with just Dizzy racing. Pembury saw Peggy's debut in an actual race, as she got to take on the short course at 1 year and 10 days old. Had to be 12 months old to race, and we had the absolute privilege, after all our hard work getting us trained, to have the most fun head-to-head race with Coach and Poppy. The most fun I've ever had in a race. Left your face grinning and your lungs burning and your legs screaming. Over both days, we just had the best time. absolutely flying around the short course, and it was an absolute dream start to Peggy's racing career. Now, if you don't know the series, the Fur Nations is run over the bank holiday weekends in spring here in the UK. So that meant the next bank holiday, early May, we were off to a new venue for us for the England leg, and it was Shipley Country Park. A much more open, grassy course for us this time. And Dizzy tried his best to do a bit of corner cutting. Hopefully Dawn didn't watch the videos, otherwise we'd have our time docked, I reckon. Still, brilliant fun, brilliant company. And Dizzy ran wonderfully well again for Scotland, putting in another really, really solid performance. And this time, it was enough to hit the podium, picking up second place for Scotland. So our 8th or 9th, I've lost count, it's that many, podium of the season. Once again, it wasn't just Dizzy. Fur Nations, long course, short course. Peggy was back on the short course, and this time her siblings Luca and Rosa were both on the course with her. Peggy set the fastest time on the course on day one. The full video of her run on that course is up on the channel, go check it out. But because she set the fastest time, that meant day two she had her first ever go at just under 13 months of leading a race out. So no dogs up ahead whatsoever, lined out, 3, 2, 1, go, and she just flew around. No one could catch her. So both her first ever races, she absolutely smashed. And it made for a brilliant end to the season for her, having come so far from literally being a tiny, tiny puppy to actually racing by the end of the season. And it was so nice for me, after putting in all that work, to be able to see her do well. So that was the end of the proper competitive season. And what a season it had been. Our most ever podiums, our highest BSF finish, new 5k team record. But there was one more bit of fun to be had. We were asked to come and join the CaniX Sports display team down at Goodwoof. We put on a exhibition race for all the people who are attending Goodwoof about all the cool things that you can do with your dog in a racing harness. And Dizzy showed them what spotty power is all about. Yep, he wasn't done for the season. Goodwoof, of course, just over a kilometre, because it was roasting hot, but Dizzy races all right in the heat, as he proved by not a flat course at all. Again, open, bit of a hill, but Dizzy ran his fastest ever 1 kilometre to finish the season off, a 3:02. That record had stood for quite a while since we went off a little bit too fast at one of the BSF races, but over a shorter distance, which suits me better. 5k is not my strength. 800 meters to 1 mile is my wheelhouse. So a 1k race really suits me, and it was absolutely amazing to finish the season with yet another team record. So what a season it has been. If you've been tuning into the videos, thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed them. If you're new around here, then make sure you smash the like button on this one, hit subscribe, because I already cannot wait. In 13, 14 weeks, it all starts again. And we've got a new look race team for next season with both Dizzy and Peggy hitting the courses. It's going to be so exciting. But we've got plenty of hard work and sweating to do over these summer months, but we're getting out, hitting the trails whenever we can. And then me and Dizzy will see you on the next one.